Tarrant Gunville is a small village in Dorset, and this is the beautiful church of St Mary. The church we see today was built in the 19th century. The church did in fact replace a much older church, which was dated back to 1503, but the old church was falling into decay, and we are told it was virtually demolished. It is reported that the architect did try to follow the lines of the first church as much as he could. This new church was consecrated in October 1845. The inside of the church is so beautiful and peaceful, but as I knew the story I'm about to tell, there was just a part of me that wondered, if true, was I being watched? The story starts at Eastbury Park near the village. There once stood a large mansion, which was designed by Sir John Vanbrugh, who also designed Blenheim Palace, as well as many other grand buildings, but this is said to have been much grander in scale. The house was built for George Donington. Construction started in 1717. By the time of Donington's death in 1720, only the forecourt and wings had been constructed. Eastbury passed to Donington's nephew George Bubb, who assumed the additional name of Donington. George pursued a political career and served as ambassador in Madrid in 1717 to 1719. He then resumed work on the construction of the mansion in 1724, with Rogers Morris supervising the work after Vanberg's death in 1726. The mansion was finally completed in 1738. George died in 1762, and the mansion was inherited by Earl Temple of Stowe, who, failing to find either a purchaser or tenant for the estate, and having no use for the estate, had the majority of the mansion demolished in 1782. The only part of the building that remains is the servants' wing, which is now known as Eastbury House. And it's the story of the demolition of the manor house that brings us to the tale of the vampire. The story goes that the mansion was demolished, not because the Earl had no use for it, but rather he could not afford the costs of running such a grand place. The Earl moved to Italy and left instructions with William Doggett, the Earl's steward, to have the house dismantled. William also owed a lot of money, with some stories even saying it was the Earl William owed the money to, but could not pay it back. Either way, William saw a way to make money. More so, he believed that the Earl's movement to Italy was permanent. William demolished the building and then pocketed the proceeds from selling the building's materials. But William then heard that the Earl was returning and was on his way back to see the building being dismantled. William panicked ran into the library and shot himself. It's mentioned that the stains on the marble floor could not be removed. Because of his crime and that he'd taken his own life, William could not have been buried on consecrated ground. The story goes on to say that after William's burial, the village did not sleep. Strange sounds carried throughout the night. Shadows moved where no living man walked. Some have claimed they have seen the figure in the churchyard, pale, watchful, as though waiting for the chances to rise, while others reported he had been seen as a vampire and his face would appear to be covered in blood. Fear had gripped the village, as some believed that suicide was said to bind a soul to restless wandering. Whisper of vampires spread from hearth to hearth. Must have been scary on dark nights. Perhaps the moon was full, and with the old churchyard now becoming a ruin. Stories of this vampire must have put the village into fear, and in 1845, when the new church was being rebuilt, that starts the ending of this story. During the rebuilding, the men working on the church came across an eerily well-preserved corpse. Locals believed it was the body of William Doggett. The body that was found at the church is said that the face maintained a rosy complexion, with 2 vampire teeth, which were visible under his top lip. The body's legs were tied together with yellow silk ribbon, while some versions of the story say that the yellow ribbon looked new, with the question of when was the legs tied together, perhaps preventing him from clawing his way out of the grave. It is also said that it is customary manner for vampires. A stake was driven into the body's heart. There is no mention if the body was reburied in the churchyard, but the body was dealt with in an acceptable way for a vampire. The Tarrant Gunville vampire made no further trouble for the village. Could this story be true, or a story told during dark nights, where suicides were believed to be linked with superstition and fear of the undead, and with that, every nightly unexplained event was put down to this vampire? While the disturbances have ceased, the story still lingers like a shadow that refuses to fade, a reminder of the dead never truly rest when fear gives them shape, and how old tales of blood and graves still echo in the dark corners of the countryside. Thank you for joining me on this spooky tale of vampires. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment with your thoughts or your own local legends, and subscribe for more tales of our history. And if you'd like to take an extra step, then consider becoming a member of the channel. Your support means so much. And until the next time, stay safe.